Ladies and gentlemen, whether you're watching us right now live or you're watching us 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road, we are so excited that you're here today. Thank you for joining us. Dan is going to go over his questionnaire. I was blown away how informative it was and how much it makes sense and how easy it is to read for everything you need to know to get started when you're looking for a home loan in Cushing, Oklahoma. So this is super exciting. Dan, thank you so much for bringing this to our audience today. Before we get into it, can you tell us a little bit about the thought process behind the questionnaire? I've never really seen this before. This is really awesome.
Well, the thought process is buying the house is the biggest investment that any couple or individual makes. And all we ever do is say, what's your name, your social security number, your income. That's not what drives the house. What drives the house is what type of investment do you want? How much do you want to pay for the house? You never want the house to own you. You got to know the individual. And all the questions on the 1003, which is your application, are not personal. They don't get to know the person, what their needs are, how long they're going to be there, what their concerns are, what their financial challenges are. That's what you need to know. So we devised this, my team and I, the questions that we thought were more important than what's on the application. And that's how it came about.
Man, as I was putting together today's banners, I was just blown away. These are just awesome. So to help the consumer who's looking for a home loan be better prepared, if it's all right with you, I'd just like to go through this whole questionnaire, and then you help people out with the answers. They're very self-explanatory, but just kind of guide them on what it means and what it's for.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Number one, what price range are you looking in?
Well, the reason that is the first question is I want to establish some reality checks, for a better word. And the price range is the first question I ask is what are you at? And like example, I just did one this morning and we're going to use it as an example. And this is a great example. Her response was $350,000. Okay, great. That's what you're looking at. She's already looking at houses. She's on Zillow. Zillow has that the taxes insurance for $350,000 houses are $50 a month. So she's looking at $350.
Yeah. That's not the right answer at all.
Right. So I get it as a reality. That's what you're looking for. Okay, great. Then let's go to the next question.
What is the desired monthly payment?
The most she wants to pay, are you ready for this? $1,800 a month.
That's not $350,000
house.
No,
Those
numbers, not
Zillow
today's
says
rates.
you can do it because your taxes insurance only $100 a month.
That's clickbait. Clickbait.
That's exactly right. So that's why I try to establish that. And I just say, okay, like if you were the client, I say, okay, Josh, so what's more important, $350 or $1,800? And guess which one always wins? $1,800.
Mm-hmm.
I said, okay. So I put that on my notes, $1,800.
What is your current monthly payment?
That's critical. Her current monthly payment is only $1,200 a month. So now we're going from $1,200 a month to $1,800 a month, a single mom of 5 children on a single income, and she wants a $350,000 house. So you see why I asked those questions?
These are so important. That's so important. That's huge.
Yeah.
The next one that you have on your questionnaire is, what are you using for down payment / cost, and where does that money come from?
Oh, down payment assistance was her answer. So she has no money down. I said, just out of curiosity, what do you have in your checking and savings account? It's $200. So she has no money down. She's going from $1,200 to $1,600. She wants a $350,000 house because Zillow says she can afford it. And I'm actually, after this, going to talk to her. Down payment assistance programs are out there. However, their debt ratio and their guidelines are much tighter, and you buy less home on down payment assistance than you would if you had your own money. And I always stress that to people. If you have your own money, you get a better rate, less fees, and less home if you do down payment assistance.
And the the closing costs for a home with insurance escrows,
Mhm.
tax escrows, everything, buying a home is not an inexpensive investment.
No,
It's a costly investment, but it's
right.
one of the easiest ways to build wealth over the lifetime. So, yeah,
Absolutely.
man. Question number 5: how soon are you looking to make your purchase?
Well, her lease runs up in August, was her answer.
There's
And
time.
there's time.
There's
And
time.
that's why I asked that. How soon are you looking right away? Before I talk to her, I really have to know what her feeling is because unfortunately, a lot of the buyers right now have really no idea how much it costs on a monthly payment on a house. A $350,000 home where she's looking at, it's going to cost her $2,900 a month. She cannot afford that because the taxes and insurance on a $350,000 house in the area she's looking at is $900 a month because she's in Edmond. And Edmond's at 1.54 mil tax. So that means their property taxes alone are going to be over $5,000 on that house, which is $480 a month. Then you have your homeowner's insurance, and then you have your mortgage insurance.
And you can still get a very respectful, a very beautiful, a very functional home for $1,800 too.
Yes.
So just that mind shift of, okay, maybe not yet on the 300, but the 1,800, that's still a great house. That's still
Oh,
a
yeah.
great house. And
And $1,800 in a home is a better investment than $1,200 in rent.
yes,
Think about
yes.
it.
The question number 6, which I was really excited about, I was really like, oh, that's a great question. What's your number one concern about owning a home? Because that could be different for everybody.
Bingo. Everybody has a different answer. Hers is, I now think about what I'm going to tell you. This is exactly what she said. How do I keep up the maintenance on that house at 1,800? Maybe 1,800 might not be the market you want to be in because when you do ownership, you own it. It's not like when you rent. So yes, you're gaining wealth, but you also have to fix the house. You have to repair the house. And so her number one concern, and what did I do? I said, did your real estate professional talk to you about a home warranty? No. I said, well, what I would suggest you do, because her concern is the repairs and stuff, is you have her talk to you about various home warranties. I own several houses, several rental houses. I have home warranties on all of them, every one of them. Why? Things happen. And for $400 or $500, $600, it depends how high you want to go. It's a steal.
And I always tell people too, I let them know, a warranty is only as good as the company giving it to you.
Right.
And no matter what company is, it's always 50-50.
Yep.
50% of the time, it's going to be an easy process. 50% of the time, it's going to be a pain in the ass to go through the warranty process. And I preference them. If people want to buy a warranty, if they can't self-warranty, if they're not handy fixing things around the house, then a warranty is a great option. But I always tell them, hey, it's 50-50. It's not an end all be all. It's 50-50. And here's 3 or 4 different companies to call or look up online and do your own research. Because you look at every single warranty company, they're going to be 2.5 to 3 stars best because it's 50-50 on the repairs.
Absolutely. Exactly. That's why I refer to a real estate professional. Have her talk to your real estate professional on that and do your research. Absolutely.
And our real estate classes, and with you having investment properties, you can attest to this too. And you could confirm this or say maybe not that much, but our real estate classes tell us, Dan, 1 to 2% annually is sometimes the maintenance cost. And I'm thinking about it like that could hold true with some things that come up. And then every now and then in Oklahoma, we have, hailstorms. So that would definitely be hitting the 2% real easy.
Yep. It can. I don't experience that much with all personally, but she's a single mom with 5 kids.
YouTube
she needs protection.
Yeah. If the home warranty doesn't cover it, YouTube the repairs definitely.
Yes, and or you do like I do. I have a handyman. I just say,
yeah, get it fixed right the first time. Great question. I didn't think about.
Yes,
I'm just a little ignorant, I guess, to this situation, but receiving and paying childcare or alimony, and I've helped customers with it, and I never even thought about it. Can you tell us a little bit more about what this means in terms of the loan?
Well, I'll tell you why this question came about. Nevada is the number one state in divorces in the United States. They have the highest divorce rate in any state. Guess who number two is? Oklahoma.
Oklahoma?
Yeah.
Man.
And I'll give you a good example on this one. Talk to this particular late individual. She gets so much money a month, cash, inconsistent, but it does come in and it's in the divorce decree. And she didn't file it on her tax returns, and there's no way to confirm it. I said, okay, so majority of your income, we cannot confirm.
Oh no.
So an online lender wouldn't know that.
Oh no.
Anytime you have alimony child support, you have to have three things. You have to have a court order, you have to have a way to confirm it, and you have to have 12 months history. And the 12 months, you also have 3 years of life expectancy. Like one of her children is 16. We can't count that income. So that 2,300 dropped to 1,600.
Wow.
Unfortunately, our state is number 2 in divorces. And more than 62% of people in Oklahoma went through a divorce. That's why that question is there. Because if you don't ask it, you don't do it, you're going to create a problem.
And
the odds are in your favor that there is a divorce situation sometime in the last 7 years, unfortunately, in Oklahoma.
That's horrible. That's sad, man. Yuck. So, and then people's situations, those are amazing qualifications that that, like you said, the online lenders aren't going to know. And that's another important reason. It's really important to reach out to Dan. I'm so sorry. Dan, the best number to reach at 405-822-0141.
Absolutely. That's my cell phone. That is absolutely hands down the best number.
Wow. And then item number 8 on the questionnaire, self-employed or any other income, which I thought was great. Cause what if they like work for those shipping companies during the holiday season, during the off hours? Is that something that would count as other income potentially?
Yeah, absolutely. The reason I ask this is a lot of people have a side job. They have side income. The one I just did, this one lady I talked to this morning doesn't, but the one I talked to yesterday is a police officer. Well, guess what? On the side, he does funerals and he does, security work she's done it for 14 years. Now you say, well, that's good. It can be, but a lot of times people do this and they record negative income.
Oh, no.
A lot of deductions. And in his case, it did affect his income. We're still able to get him in a house. Not as much as he wants, unless he wants to put a lot more money down, because he's reporting the income. Absolutely. But because he's reporting it, he's taking all these deductions, which you can't count. And he actually has a negative income of a little over 400 a month. We have to now count against him. But it's lowered his taxes.
Yeah.
So if you don't ask that question, majority of people have some side income. And an online lender won't know. You go to closing, you go to underwriting. I'm sorry, debt ratio's out of line. Well, when they pull the tax returns, they go, what's this side income? Ask for it up front. A lot of people have it. It's amazing how people have it.
Wow. And don't expense everything if you're getting ready to buy a house.
Oh, no, don't. That's why I always tell people, show me your tax returns before you file them.
Yeah. This was a great question too. Is there anyone else involved in the decision making? Because I know personally, when it comes to buying a house, my wife is heavily involved. But she's a stay-at-home mom, so none of her info's on the report. So you wouldn't know about her unless, well, I guess you would see that I'm married, but yeah, other people involved. Like I helped a customer and the parents were heavily involved.
Yep.
Very, very heavily involved. Is that what you mean?
Absolutely. The lady I talked to today goes, yeah, my parents are going to gift me money. Well, let's get them in on the call, because
Yes.
I found that you want to get everybody in on the call that you can and bring them in and talk, because usually people that gift money have strings. I want to know what those strings are. Because
Yes,
there's
there's
no
been
need
a
for us all, the real estate professional, me, bust and do everything and find out that people with the money that has the bait might pull it unless you
yeah.
meet certain guidelines. I've found that they all seem to have little strings. Let's find out what they are now.
And then this was a great question. I was like, Dan doesn't just do single family homes.
Yes.
He could do investment properties, duplexes, triplexes. He could do
Mhm.
all sorts of things. So, and maybe land. I don't know. Tell us about the property types, because that was a great question. I wasn't even thinking about that.
Actually, the property types in Oklahoma is really a very critical question. To the point where I actually thought of making that the first question when I did this, because the difference in single family homes, in modular homes, in mobile homes, in condos, in unique homes, in investment properties, in pricing and categories, huge. So you go out and you find this great, I'll give you a great example that happened. It was a real sad example. It's a file that's supposed to close this Friday. And I got a call from the real estate professional, Dan. They went with bleep bleep lending, and we're just going to call it bleep bleep lending. And appraisal's done, structural engineers done, inspections are done, DEQ's done, septic laterals are done. Everything's done. Went to underwriting and got turned down on a double wide. I said, "Wow, customers A plus plus, everything's golden." Said, Dan, can you help us? I said, well, you haven't told me why it's turned down, but from what you just said, I said, let me guess. That mobile home is old. How'd you know? Mobile homes, for example, the Department of HUD has an expiration date dated June 23rd, 1976. If that mobile home is before 1986, you can't get a loan on it. If it's before 1996, you can only get a 20-year loan on it, because the effective life expectancy of that mobile home is only 20 years. You can try to get an exception, but they're few and far between. That mobile home was 83. So what do we do? Cash.
Mm.
And they're like, what? Cash or an investor or a hard money lender. That's the only people who will do that loan. Beautiful mobile home, 186,000 in Yukon, gorgeous, 5 acres, owes 151,000 on it, way overpaid for it. But the lender that put her in that mobile home, they just bought it 5 years, did not tell them about that. And they got a 15-year loan. They were going, yeah, we were wondering why we had to do a 15-year loan. Well, that's all you qualified for because of the age of the mobile home at the time.
So what year do people need to pay attention to today at the time of this video? What year does the mobile home need to be built before?
June 23rd, 1976 is the mobile homes, according to Fannie, Freddie, and Department of HUD, have no value. They have no effective value whatsoever. So if you have a 10-year mobile home, it only has 10 years effective value. So if you have something built in 87, you can do a 10-year loan. You can always ask for an exception, but if it's before 86, you ain't got a chance in heck. You're not going to get it.
Okay.
And 96 is a 20-year loan. 2006, you can ask for a 30-year loan. Now, I've done a 2003 recently, and we got a 30-year, but we knew it. We knew the guidelines, and we knew to ask for the exception up front before we did the appraisal and title.
Wow. That's huge here in Oklahoma,
Yep.
especially when you're looking at acre properties.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, there's some real nice mobiles out there.
Oh, yeah.
That might be on that 2000-ish timeline where, yeah, that's really important to know.
Absolutely. And the online lenders and unfortunately, a lot of local lenders I did a presentation recently with a bunch of local lenders, and I gave that to them, and two of them called me a liar. And I said, really? Google it. And they said, we apologize. I go, you don't know that? You're in Oklahoma.
What benefit do you have to lie? I mean,
No, they were just trying to show how smart they were, or we're not in this case.
oh my gosh, that's so frustrating. And then the last question that you have on there, which I think is amazing, because
Yes.
this definitely comes into play kind of with the gap check. Maybe is that kind of
Mhm.
what this is leaning to? Any credit concerns?
Yes. That's better than asking, hey, Josh, how's your credit? Good, bad, ugly, fair, or good, bad, and the ugly. One of my favorite shows, by the way. I love Clint Eastwood. Hey, how's your credit? Good, bad, or ugly? Oh, so I changed it. That sounds awful. Let's just do credit concerns.
Yeah.
And that's when they all come out, because it's a non-intrusive question the way I ask it.
Yeah. And I'm always telling borrowers, tell them everything. Because like
Yeah.
that gentleman that you just spoke about, gentleman or gentlewoman that you
Mhm.
just spoke about, who spent maybe $1,000 to $1,500 in inspections, you could have
Mhm.
saved them all that money, because that's gone money. They don't
Yeah,
get
it's
that back.
gone. That money is
That's
gone,
yeah.
and it was a lot more than that, because they
And
had
I
to do
owe
an
it.
$800 structural engineer report.
Oh my gosh, you got to. I'm always stressing to borrowers. Tell Dan everything,
Yeah,
everything that you have a concern about, because getting right before closing out all that money,
yeah.
and you could have solved this, a
Day
month or
one,
2 months ago.
not day one. We've been resolved day one.
Yeah,
Anytime it's any unique homes, mobile wide, single wide, double wides, multi-unit stuff, I always tell my real estate professional, get me that MLS sheet now. And let
yeah.
me do some research to see if we got a problem, because there are special guidelines on various homes. And you got to know them as a lender. You have to know them.
Wow, such powerful, such easy questions. Like you say,
Yeah.
they're definitely not on the 1003. Is
Yeah,
that
the
what you
1003, the applications call it
1003?
1003. None of these questions are on there.
Wow, wow, wow,
That's how I
wow.
start my application. That's exactly how I start my application. We fill it out. I've got several around my desk right now looking at it. We fill it out. I go over it. Then I say, okay, now I'm going to send you the application via text or email. Fill it out. But I already know what I got. I already know if I can make a loan or not.
Right, because there's no reason to do the application, pay for the credit check and all that
Yeah.
stuff if your questionnaire solves 99% of the 99% of everything.
Absolutely. I've got a great feel for it. The one lady, after this podcast, I'm going to call her up. She has a choice to make. 1,800. Now she wants down payment assistance. Absolutely. That 1,800 just dropped to 1,500. Now her house has just dropped even more.
Man, Edmond's tough right now.
Yeah.
I've been helping some investors in sub 250, and there were 17 offers on one house.
Yeah.
It is tough if she's thinking about staying there. There's some great other cities,
Yeah.
but gotta watch over her. Gotta watch over her.
You
So
have to be realistic. And by
yeah,
talking in this and being conversational like this is, and that's the key, conversational, they'll believe you. They'll do the
yeah.
check. And it does a better thing for the real estate partners. Can I think it get in her house? Yes, absolutely. Does she want a $350,000 home? Absolutely. Can she afford it? Absolutely not.
And no one should go house broke. No one should put
Yes.
wants before needs, or
Right.
before whatever it's called to stay not house broke.
Yeah.
Helping people through a foreclosure process is horrible.
Oh, it's awful.
It's horrible.
Nobody wins. Nobody
No,
wins.
except the banks with the insurance.
Yes, they file a mortgage claim. Absolutely.
And we're talking about the secondary banks, not upfront people, boots on the
Yeah.
ground, doing the work, helping you get the loan like Dan. We're talking the back office.
Oh, yeah.
When the loans sold off to the big banks like Bank of America, Citibank, et cetera, et cetera. We're
Yep.
talking about those banks. And I don't personally know, and I haven't done any studies, but I think they make more money when that happens than if a regular sell were to happen in the property sell by just paying off a mortgage. Do you know anything about that, Dan? Am I talking out my rear? Am I incorrect?
You're very astute. because the fees and stuff that they can charge, especially if it has mortgage insurance, are usually never audited.
Yeah. It's like doing short sales on stock.
Mhm.
It's the same thing. You're doing short sell on a bond and you've got the insurance to cover it. So,
Yep, they got the
um,
insurance to cover it. They don't take a loss. They send you a 1099 and say thank you, and they get their money from the MIP, the mortgage
yeah.
insurance premium.
Yeah.
They file a
Well,
claim and they get their money.
yeah. And I don't want to end on a negative note. What are some
Positive.
positive things going on in the mortgage industry, Dan, or in Oklahoma in general? Did you guys have a great weekend? I know you went camping a couple weekends ago. How's things going?
Oh, you definitely want me to stay in mortgages because I am the worst shot in the world. I could hit the side of a barn. So we'll talk. But no, the industry is going great. Oklahoma has moved up to number 4. People are moving to the state of Oklahoma. Oklahoma is extremely affordable. Big companies are building in Oklahoma. They're investing in Oklahoma. Investors are coming to Oklahoma in droves still. Why? Honestly, the cost of living is so much more affordable. You buy so much more house in Oklahoma. The market that is blowing me away, Cushing, Stillwater, rural development is growing at an alarming rate. It's actually now my number one loan, when 2 years ago I was doing maybe 20% rural development. Now I'm doing over 50% rural development. Because in these rural markets, and especially with modular and double wides, you buy a lot more house, get you some land. Just know what you're doing though. And make sure you got a lender that knows what they're doing, because $50 a month for taxes and insurance on every house on Zillow. Are you kidding me? I saw a Zillow posting for $500,000 home, taxes 50, insurance 50.
That's just clickbait. That's just straight up
That's
clickbait.
what it is. And then their rates run to the screen. They quote everything with 1 or 2 points.
Yeah.
I just had another example that a guy sent me his quote, and on a VA with 2.87 points with one of the online lenders. I said, "Yeah, you got a problem there. What?" VA only allows 2 points. You can't do the 283. It's illegal.
Yeah.
I said, "So you're going to pay all this money?" And I said, did they ever talk to you about Earl? Well, who's Earl? Interest rate reduction loan, only on VA loans. That if your rate drops below a half a point of the current rate and it's better for $73, you can redo your VA loan.
Wow.
They're like, what? So why do you want to pay all those points?
Yeah. That's big time. That's
But
big
they
time.
don't tell them about it. I advertise it with all my vets. Every vet, first thing I tell them is about Earl. Introduce you to Earl. And I send them a flyer on it to Google it.
That is so cool. Well, Dan, thank you so much. We've got your contact info down below, but one more time for our viewers out there, what's the best way for them to get a hold of you?
Call my cell, 405-822-0141. And I'm going to end on this note. I miss the OSU spring game. Seriously, Pokes, come on. That was a good event. So
Do they do tailgating at that event too, or is it all the lunch and stuff provided?
the official Eskimo Joe's is right around the corner.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, it just depends. We always go there. We make it a good time. We're big OSU supporters. I went to OSU. My wife, my parents worked there. My grandparents worked there. My uncle was the last player to play both foot ways, offense and defense under Coach Whitworth. We bleed orange, and they cancel it. I go, huh? So I was like,
Man.
you know what? I really think OSU is going to be better this year than they were last year. They lost more players in the portal than most any school. But you look what they picked up. I'm like, they got some good. I don't know. We'll see. They got good recruiting class, good talent. Mike Gundy knows what he's doing. He's the 9th or 10th winningest coach in NCAA now or something. He's moved up the chart, number 1 in the Big 12.
Wow.
Guy knows what he's doing. He's had a lot of 10-win seasons in Stillwater, Oklahoma. And prior to him, we had Jimmy Johnson had 1.
Oh no. Yeah. That is awesome. That is awesome. Well, hopefully they get all that going again for next year and this same hiccup doesn't happen again.
No, I don't think so. I don't know this portal. That's a different subject. But no, Oklahoma's a great place. It's growing. People are finding out about Oklahoma. In fact, are you ready for this? I'm closing 3 loans from a company in Alaska that a real estate agent did something I suggested. And she's getting 3 referrals from Alaska that are all moving there, and she's getting them all because I said, find you a little company that doesn't have a relo that you see that's moving. We found one, and she's closing 3 loans next month on transfers from Alaska to Oklahoma. Because people are
That
moving.
is awesome.
And she's the realtor of choice, and I'm the lender of choice. I love Alaska. Never been there.
Yeah. No, you got to go out there and get the business for sure. Sales don't happen on their own.
No. Absolutely.
Perfect. Well, I'm going to go ahead and get us out of here. It's 30 minutes. I want to respect your time. Guys, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Hit the follow link if you're on Facebook to both Dan and I's information. That way you're kept up to date with everything when it comes to Oklahoma home loans. And we'll see you guys on the next video. Have a good one, guys.
Go Pokes.